the first thing that we're going to talk about is some general advice. So looking at the kind of requirements, the specifications for this essay, one of the things that I want to stress to you guys pretty early on is that 2,000 words is not many words. So that might sound strange if you've not spent a lot of time writing a lot of essays before, because 2,000 sounds like a big number. But if you spend a lot of time researching and get a lot of ideas, it's going to be clear to you once you start writing that 2,000 words is going to go pretty quickly, especially if you're doing everything that you should be doing and setting up your introduction and conclusion effectively. So what does this mean for actually how to approach the essay? So one of the things you can do is, spend a lot of time reading, try and, get all of the best possible theories that you can. But at the end of the day, you will not be able to include all of them. And so one of the things that I think is really important to stress is that the main advantage that you can accrue over others when you're approaching an essay like this will come before you even start writing, and it will come from your content selection. Um, so what this means is, trying to select those points that are best suited to the argument that you're going to be making. And so consider the strongest arguments you possibly can. Consider the strongest thought experiments, the strongest examples that you can to try and impact your points. I'm also going to suggest that you think really consciously about how to make your points effectively and efficiently. So when you're thinking about effectively, so we want to use examples to try and back up our points. So you don't want to just leave kind of abstract principles hanging around. We also want to try and back those up with concrete cases and maybe things from the real world. And when efficiently, so we want to try and use kind of as few words as possible, as much as we can, because if we're wasting words, then we are losing out on opportunities to say other things which can make our essay better. So potential ways of doing that are trying to kind of, as much as we can, try and avoid jargon, because that will, as much as you think it might be saving you words, it will make things more confusing. And it also will require you to sit there and explain. So try and write in ways which are kind of approachable to people. Secondly, structuring your arguments is going to be something that's really important. So as much as choosing the content and writing effectively, all of that is going to have to be put into some particular structure. And one of the things that I'm going to suggest is structuring your arguments in numbered premises can really help with the clarity in the word count. So if you're trying to write your arguments out in kind of big long paragraphs, you're going to end up writing those less efficiently than if you had done kind of premise one, this, premise two, this, therefore conclusion this. And if you look back in this presentation or these slides from the other presentations, you'll see that I've included a lot of examples of arguments that have been put in this premise conclusion format. And I hope you'll agree that this is something that helps make things really clear and shows you where your commitments are and what premises you need to establish in order to get to your conclusion. And then finally, for general advice, I'm going to encourage you all to try and use subheadings to differentiate the individual sections of your essay. So you're going to have an introduction, you're going to have a conclusion, and then you're probably going to have, between 2 and 4 main body paragraphs or main body points that you're going to kind of consider. So in order to prevent your essay from kind of bleeding it all into one big thing, I would encourage you to use some subheadings and really just split everything into different sections. So think consciously about, what are the minor claims that I want to establish on the way to establishing my major claim, which is going to be my conclusion, i.e., do I think that we should or should not be held responsible for our beliefs? And working out, structuring your subheadings for your sections to try and indicate to the reader what's going to be happening. So this is going to be really useful for signposting, but also for keeping your thoughts clear.